This video was brought to you by Squarespace. Hey! Do you need a website? If yes, then follow-up question, do you know how to build a website? Because I needed a website, and I did not know how to make a website in the slightest little even teeny tiny bit, so I used Squarespace. Squarespace made building my website, Arlo recommends, super easy. I picked a template that looked good, I tweaked it to meet my needs, and I was done. And now anything I need is at my fingertips. I can embed pictures and video and like tweets, and I can even tie my social media accounts to my website, so whenever I make a post on my website, it automatically pushes to social media. Saves me a bunch of time. I can even schedule posts, also saves me time. And if your website needs more than that, Squarespace offers loads of powerful extensions, as well as very detailed analytics so you can check out how your site is doing, who's visiting your site, all that good stuff. To try out Squarespace for yourself, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. Then when you're ready to launch, head to squarespace.com/Arlo to save 10% off your first website or domain. And now for today's recommendation. Whoa! Pepper grinder. Yeah, like a pepper grinder. Get a pepper grinder. That's the recommendation. Once you start using freshly ground pepper, you will never, ever go back. I mean, like pre-ground pepper is like, it's like the cheap knockoff imitation of pepper. It just, you gotta believe me, makes such a big difference. Just try to get a grinder with as much glass and or metal as possible. Thanks again to Squarespace. Now, on with the video. Marching over here. It should be. My wonderful friends, it is Q4, quarter four. It is all hands on deck time. So much to do, pretty much up until Christmas. I'm freaking out, way too much to do, and yet still I felt it would be wrong. It would feel wrong and cruel and unfair to not get in a hopes video before Scarlet and Violet comes out. So let's do it. Let's talk about my hopes for the game. It's the game. It's one game. And I've been like not keeping up on every single little detail coming out. You know, I'm trying to avoid spoilers and stuff. So if there's anything here that I say and you're like, they confirmed that or they confirmed not that, just, you know, bear with me. Keep it to yourself is what I'm trying to say. So first things first, I really like Legends Arceus. Review is coming. I said it would come before Scarlet and Violet, and I'm holding to that. It's gonna. Probably gonna. Point is, I love that game. I love it a lot. I want that to be the future of Pokemon, and so, you know, I could probably sum up this whole video by just saying I want Scarlet and Violet to be like Arceus. You know, pretty much just like a lot of that's like, that's my primary hope, is just that a lot of that carries over. And I know they were in development at the same time. I know not all of it has carried over. Mainly I know that we don't have just like the free throwing catching mechanic, which is disappointing. I liked it a lot. And like no moving around in battle, and no just like crafting random items. You can craft TMs, but not other stuff. So I know there's stuff that I did like that's not gonna make it. But let's talk about some other stuff. So far from what we've seen, it does seem like just like the flow of battle is like Arceus, just like a little bit faster. I still need to like sit down with the game to know for sure. But that's a really big hope, is just the speedy battles. It's such a big thing for me. I just like move it along. Like turn-based is fine. I like turn-based games, but don't waste my time. Come on, I got the information I need to get, just move on. And I really liked pretty much all of the changes Arceus made to just like stat buffing and debuffing, just like how stats were, and like status effects were just very different. And I really enjoyed all of those changes, and I just like to see them go with that and maybe iterate on that a little bit more. So I'm hoping that some of that is intact. Here's a big one, grit items. I don't know if this has been confirmed or deconfirmed yet, but I'm always very staunchly against EVs just as a concept. I don't like the whole thing. I thought grit items were great. I don't know if grit items are making a return, but I would love to see that, or just something like it in Scarlet and Violet. Some way to like boost the stats of our Pokemon in a much more just intuitive and not like half invisible, really just boring way. You know what I'm saying? Grit items, I want them. So we have confirmed that the shiny system is going to be basically the same in Scarlet and Violet as Arceus, which is great. Just, you know, you're going to see more shinies because you're just going out and Pokemon are spawning actively, and that's great. But I really also hope they bring back mass outbreaks, especially now that this is an open world game. It's just perfect. Just like, you know, you get like a little notification on your little thing, like a little news thing. Oh, you know, there's been a mass outbreak of this spotted over in this area. area. It just gives you something else to do, just some other thing to just randomly be like, oh, hey, a thing to go do. I really like it. The opportunity to get shinies is just very fun. I like it. Mass outbreaks. Hope they come back. This is going to seem like a weird one. You know the guy in Arceus that lets you upgrade your pouch, but like he starts asking for just absurd amounts of money, just like millions of dollars to get pockets in your pouch. I know it's ridiculous, and that man is evil. I hate him. And yet I really appreciated that there's something to do with the money, with my money in the game. There, you know, there's always something like increasing your pack storage is just a really good thing. Just like at any given time, you're better off with a bigger pack. And I really enjoyed that even on top of like buying stuff, there's just something big to just sink my money into that makes me feel like I'm getting better. Like I've never been strapped for cash in a Pokemon game past a certain point, like ever. You just like, I've got, you know, I can buy all of the Ultra Balls and Hyper Potions that I want in the entire world. So like, my money means nothing. I want it to mean something. I want there to be stuff to, even if it's not specifically the pack storage thing, I just like, just something important that feels like it's just making me better and progressing me. Here's another thing, like Arceus. I liked Arceus' story. Nothing special, but like, it was still a story. It's more than just like, you're a Pokemon trainer, go beat the Elite Four, there's some bad guys along the way. I don't know, like, it was just more involved, and there are like actual things that happen in the plot as you go along that kind of change the story and recontextualize things, and I want that. And I definitely have high hopes, even just the fact that we already have this whole like, you know, the game and the stories kind of split into like 3 different stories. That already bodes really well. And one of the reasons Arceus' story was good is because it was kind of focused around this one town. And in this one, it's focused around like your school, and you have these returning characters. And I think that is going to make a really, really, really big difference. Because like, I think that's what hurt the stories in past games is you're always moving, you're always changing places. If you see anyone multiple times, it's because they, you know, they pop up in front of you and you have a trainer battle, and like, that's it. But like, yeah, here it's a school, you got teachers, you got friends. I like that. The potential is definitely there, and I just hope they stick the landing. Give me some stuff I care about, at least to some degree, some small degree. Here's a big hope that I could easily just like solve. I could just see what the answer is by just like checking whenever they end up spoiling the starter evolutions. It's inevitable, I'm sure. I just want the I'm not gonna look. That's the part of the fun. You gotta just pick one. I think I'm gonna go with Fuecoco. I think he's gonna turn into a big nasty monster, but you know what? Just cute, really clever design. I just want the evolutions to be good. I was not a massive fan of any of the starters in Sword and Shield, and then I disliked pretty much all of their evolutions. So I like these starters. These starters are nice. I've been having a hard time picking them because I kind of like them all. Just make the evolutions good. Just don't make them look dumb. Like, just don't make them look like, you know, I don't even know what my standards are for what looks good and what doesn't. I just hope it looks good. And on that note, this is very much just like a personal taste thing. This isn't even like a, they should do this. It's just, I hope that I end up liking more of the new Pokemon. I think, probably more so than any other generation before it. I really didn't like Sword and Shield's Pokemon. I mean, I don't know, and they kind of grew on me over time, but for the most part, just like a little too weird and silly. Like, they're really doubling down on that like lore thing. You know, every Pokemon, it is amazingly designed in all these ways, but just like, I end up looking at them and just being like, yeah, but it's goofy. It's just like, this is weird. I just hope I end up liking more. Things are looking good though. I think as for like the early Pokemon designs that have been revealed, I think I like them more than I liked most of the early Sword and Shield designs, so looking pretty good. Here's something that I, you know, hoped about Arceus and will probably hope about every Pokemon game until I feel that my trust has been restored. I hope it doesn't feel rushed. That's a really big thing. Sword and Shield just felt so cheap, so rushed, so many, you could see the cut corners. You could see where there was probably gonna be more, and they just went, sorry, ran out of time. Like, I don't want that. I know it's not gonna be the most polished game in the world, especially graphically, you know, but like, I don't know, kind of like with Arceus, it could have used more polish and more time for the graphics, but it still felt, it didn't feel rushed. It didn't feel, other than the graphics, it still felt like it was a full experience. That's what I want Scarlet and Violet to be. I did not get that with Sword and Shield. That just felt like one giant cut corner. I don't want that. Like, it doesn't have to be the most impressive Pokemon game in the world. I just don't want it to look like a cheap holiday rush product. Considering Scarlet and Violet are open world, this probably goes without saying. I think there's not anybody who doesn't wish this, but I'll say it anyway. I just hope there's a lot to do. Just a lot of fun stuff to do out in the world. And I think the throwing mechanic in Arceus was one of the things that made me enjoy that gameplay so much, and I was okay. Like, that had a lot to do because I could always just be running around throwing balls, and the fact that I can't do that now is I mean, you got like the quick battles, that's kind of like that. But without that, I really hope there's a lot of stuff, and you know, it's got to be varied. You have to have varying tasks, not just catching Pokemon. You know, I hope there's just a lot of, I don't know, optional trainer battles and little side quests. And again, it does sound that way because of the whole 3-story thing. I mean, we've already seen, you know, there's these big Pokemon, you got Terror Raid battles, and it does seem like there's a lot already. I just, I hope there's a lot, and I hope some of like the little, like, you know, hide and seek minigame kind of things from Arceus kind of move over. Just lots of things to find, a lot of reasons to explore. You know, it needs to reward exploration. And I really liked the wild areas in Sword and Shield because, especially in the DLC, because that was the closest to the kind of Pokemon game I wanted that we had up to that time. But those open worlds were still very much just like, it's just a big place populated with Pokemon. If you're not into just catching Pokemon, there's not a lot to do. And so that's why I need some sort of I need something more than that, just like little tasks to accomplish, whether it is side quests or little challenges or like specific Pokemon you gotta catch, but like in a more, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to just be a big open playground where there are Pokemon. Do you like raising Pokemon? Okay, go catch the Pokemon and raise them. I need goals, you know? I need goals. I need some kind of progress. It's dumb, I know, but I like check boxes. I like checking boxes, okay? It's just fun. Give me some boxes to check. And similarly, I want a good end game, you know? Just like lots of good end game stuff. For me, really hard trainer battles are the most fun. In any Pokemon game, it's like the late game. If I haven't been like, you know, if I've actually been raising up a team, like kind of leveling evenly, and, you know, fighting a trainer that's at or above my level, that's where the real fun is. So just like lots of really super high trainer battles. Nothing locked behind dex completion. Please, I hate that. I'm not gonna get 100% of the regional dex before I can do all of it. You know what I mean? Like, just don't do that. Please, don't do that. Just give me lots of fun stuff to do, lots of I'm spoiled. That's the thing. Like, I grew up on, like, Gold and Silver. Spoiled me forever, like as far as like what post-game content in a Pokemon game can be. I'm always going to be basing things off of that, and that's not even fair because that's just, they let you go all the way back to Kanto. Like, it's ridiculous. So it doesn't need to be that big necessarily, but I don't know, I like unlocking stuff after the credits. Just makes me feel like there's just a bunch of fun stuff to do. And finally, I want this game, with its open world, it's truly open world for the first time in Pokemon history, I want it to prove that open world is the way to go. Like, without, just beyond a shadow of a doubt. I want everyone to play this game and just be like, yeah, this is it. This isn't just a trend that we're chasing. This is where Pokemon should be. I mean, and I think it makes sense. Pokemon games have always been about just the adventure, the freedom, and, really just like freedom of expression. You know, you could say that the fact that there are so many different Pokemon you can raise, and you raise up your own team with your own moves, that in itself is sort of a form of expression. That is going to kind of represent you and your tastes, just like as a person. So similarly to that, I want the open world itself to kind of like play into that open expression, that freedom of choice, and just like doing whatever I want to do and tackling things the way I want to tackle them. Like, I just want it to make sense, and I want it to just definitively be like, yes, this is the way Pokemon has been building to, and this is the way that it should be. Now, I should say that, like, maybe down the line, maybe we can get multiple different styles of Pokemon game, because I mean, like, there is something to be said for the idea of starting in your little town and then slowly working your way, because that kind of represents, like, in real life, if you were a kid going on an adventure and you know, like the anime, like you're slowly working your way through, there is something to be said for that. That is pretty cool. So I wouldn't want to see the concept go away entirely. Yeah, like I said, if like someday they do like, you know, there's the big 3D ones and then there's like the top-down, more traditional ones. Maybe, but for the most part though, like for the most part, open world just fits so well with Pokemon. And that is that. And you know what? The fact that my final hope wasn't, I hope it's good, that says something. I'm feeling pretty and you know, I did do like, I hope it's not cheap and rushed. That's still a possibility, but like I'm already reasonably confident just based on what we've seen that it's gonna be good. So that's nice. That's just a nice place to be, that I'm not like, you know, after like Arceus restored some of my hopes. So just like, I'm not sitting here just like, please be good. Just please be a game that I want to play. Like I'm sure it's gonna be a game I want to play. That feels really good. On my final hope, this is a deal breaker. This is really important. I hope Mareep is in the game. Oh wait, Mareep is already in the game. There you go. It's gonna be a great game. What Terra type should I give my Mareep? Oh, I don't even know. Oh my gosh, that's a thinker right there. Anyway, what are your hopes and dreams for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet? Let me know down in the comments. And in the meantime, I'm not even kidding. I have so much to do for like 2 months. Okay, wish me luck. Bye. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh.